Great news. I just talked to Haley Hoover. She will be on my podcast. She is on my podcast as we speak. She's the one that published our beautiful Motherhood Diaries book. This book is a soul beautiful books for moms. Any moms out there that is new mothers, existing moms. We've all gone through something, right? There's 10 beautiful authors that have written their stories in this book, 10, including myself. So if you have not received this book or you've not bought it yet, please do get your hands on this book. It's available on Amazon right now to go and grab your copy. Haley is amazing. She's actually there to help a lot of people that want to write their book or build a business. So I'm here talking to you right now so I can introduce you to Haley. So let's talk to Haley. Okay, here we are today. Who wants to grow their business and also publish their book? I have here Haley Hoover, the one and only. She helps coaches and entrepreneurs grow their business with fun, flow, and fulfillment. The Sparkling Hippie by Haley Hoover. Here she is. Oh my God, so happy you're here today because I needed to make this wow day for sure. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is like a real big honor to be on your podcast. So thank you.
Absolutely. I am excited to say my book is on the edge of getting edited. And I got to be honest, it's so exciting to see how things are just happening and its own time. And Haley will be making this possible for me, of course. She's the one that got our Motherhood Diaries book launched and published. If you have not yet got your hands on this book, you got to do it right now because it's selling like hotcakes. And I've noticed that delivery now is taking longer. Look, we both have it. Yay. we got to get this book on. So make sure you have it or you get it on Amazon if you have not got it yet. So let's start this awesome podcast. I've been wanting to know, Haley, introduce yourself, who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So, I have been coaching since 2018. I help entrepreneurs self-publish their books, as Nish said, and also help them gain their first clients and launch their business. So, and then I also paint. So I do a little bit of everything, but I have a lot of fun doing it all. So,
isn't that amazing? Like how much you have gotten for yourself and where you're at. I'm excited to see that growth in you because a lot of entrepreneurs are wondering how you got here, what brought you here, right? So basically, what were you doing before you started the publishing company?
Well, I got a degree in public relations. So I did that for about 8 years off and on with a few stints where I quit my job and lived abroad in between. And then 2018, like I said, I started coaching and I guess I've slightly varied. I thought I would do mostly creatives, like teaching people how to be creative and stuff like that. And then I've wiggled my way around, as all of us have to do, and figured out that my love is helping people launch their business. That's where public relations kind of comes into play for me. And then plus I've been studying entrepreneurship I guess like 12 years now. Since I was 18, I knew it was what I wanted to do. So I've always been watching what the entrepreneur world was doing and following the bloggers and all of the tech stuff. So it's really kind of I didn't realize it, but it's kind of a secret passion of mine. Finally I figured out like, oh my gosh, I have a knack for helping people with this. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey for sure.
It really has, right? Like I look at it in a way. I remember when I had met you the first time and we sat there and we started talking. First of all, your energy was so brilliant, so bright. It was like, yes, this is who I want to work with. This is the person.
Aww, thank you.
Yeah. And remember you did my, my book mapping too, as well. And that was absolutely amazing. And then we just created something so amazing from there, right? We just kept on talking and we kept on being who we are. And I kept on seeing you a couple of times, and you were ready to be that person to basically let others know that don't worry, you got this. Let's keep going. You're very motivating. And that's why I'm very happy to have you on my side while I'm doing this. Like,
Aw,
wow.
thank you. I appreciate that so much. Yeah. No, I love seeing other people's dreams and then saying, oh, we can do this and we can do that, and kind of making it come to life. I'm very visionary. I don't do so good with the being in the weeds, but I always see big visions for people. And I know as soon as we talked, I was like, oh, okay, we've got a big vision. She's going to be doing a lot of things. It's going to be great. So yeah, it's going to be really fun to watch your book be birthed, right? So it's I know you've been working on it for a while and you're getting close. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how it comes out. It's like having a child.
Yeah, my editor that I got is amazing. She's fabulous, and I could not have done it without her. So it's nice to be able to have the book already started to edit. So that's really fun. Here's one I wanted to ask you something. It's not in the questions that I've asked you. So
Okay.
you did something for me a while ago that I want you to explain. You drew me a picture of something you felt of me, and then you were able to explain that picture about where I was heading to. Could you explain that, what you were doing? And I basically want them to know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like, I don't know anyone else who really does this in this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm an intuitive artist, which means I paint for fun, and I don't ever start a painting with an end picture in mind. I kind of feel my way through it and have fun and see what comes up. I'm always surprised. But I also can channel messages through my paintings. So I have what I call intuitive art sessions, where someone can ask a question. I really like painting, what's my purpose, or what's the purpose of my business? Kind of those big questions that we kind of get stuck on at times. And basically I let the painting come through me, and then together we stop and analyze, okay, now that it's done, here's what this means, here's what this means, here's what this means. And it's not me, it's something that comes through me. And 9 times out of 10, everyone that I've done this with, they have a huge breakthrough, they have an emotional moment, they have something where their intuition tells them what they've been needing to hear. And I had someone tell me once, she said, well, gosh, I kind of knew that, but now that it's staring me in the face, how can I deny it? So it's really neat to see a visual of, what's blocking you, or where you're going, or whatever it is that you had a question about. So yeah, very unique type of thing.
That was amazing, because you were able to see something I had to really think about. Like, yes, this does make sense, but where is it coming from? This is something I think a lot of people would be interested in, because I've never seen it done before. And when it was done for me, I was able to pinpoint areas that I needed to work on. So thank you for that. Thank you for allowing yourself to open up that way. Yeah, it was awesome. So you've written some books, haven't you?
Yes, I have 2 books out right now.
So explain them. Which books did you write and why?
Well, I'll start with, I guess I have it down here somewhere. I like visuals, obviously, as an artist. Brazenly Beautiful, I actually wrote it a long time ago, maybe 2015-ish. So quite a long time ago. But it just kind of sat on my computer. I had it as an ebook, sold maybe a dozen copies and never really did much with it. Then about a year ago, so my boyfriend and I had spent a year in New Zealand doing the hippie thing. We lived out of a van, traveled the country, had a blast. The whole time we were there, I told him I'm going to write down all of our stories, because when we get back, we're not going to remember any of this, because I've before that lived abroad, and when you get back, it's just, that was your experience, but no one in your life knows, so you don't talk about it. It's almost like it didn't happen.
Right.
So when we got back, I put all of those stories together in a format, and found a place where you can publish like one book for $40 or something, so it was just a one book, and that was just going to be for my boyfriend and I. And then I got curious, and I was like, well, how hard would it be to put that on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
And I have, like I said, public relations, and so I've done a lot of graphic design in my past, so I thought, let me just have some fun. And so I designed a cover and redesigned the inside to fit it on Amazon and played their game. And then boom, before I know it, it was up on Amazon. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've wanted to be an author my whole life. I had like 10 unfinished manuscripts on my computer. All these books I've always wanted to write. And all of a sudden, oops, I like basically did it. I published a book and I didn't mean to, which was, I thought it was hysterical. Because I'm like, I have literally been studying the publishing industry my whole life, trying to figure out how to publish a book. And I was overwhelmed. I was stressed. I couldn't figure it out. And here I did it in, a couple weeks. So I put it on Facebook to say, oh my gosh, look at this. And just kind of laughed it off, went to bed. The next day I woke up. To my surprise and delight, I was a #1 new release author. All my friends and family had bought it, which was really cool. But then my next thought was, oh my gosh, I didn't actually plan on anyone reading it. It was, a private journal that I was just seeing if I could put it up. So I had to take it down and kind of edit it, ask for permissions, all this stuff. But that book is Hippie Still Exists. I will say it has nothing to do with my business. So I don't really market it. It's literally my journals of our adventures in New Zealand. But what that did was it gave me the confidence to publish my own books and realize I have all the tools that I needed. So then I went back and I published Brazenly Beautiful on Amazon, which is way cooler having it as a physical copy. And one thing led to another, and I started helping other people publish their books. And now I have a full-blown publishing company, which is pretty cool. So, yeah.
Is that amazing? Yeah. Like, you don't even realize something, you just put it through and then say, okay, let's see how it works out. And all of a sudden it just blows right out, right?
Yes. Yeah, because I tell you, I wasn't even thinking about going into publishing. It was something I was kind of doing for fun on the side while I focused on my coaching. And then I felt at the beginning of this year, I felt a nudge where Divine was like, why don't you look a little more into your publishing? And I did. And I was like, this is taking off more than my coaching, and I haven't even put any advertising into it. I haven't told anyone. It was all just kind of growing on its own. So I feel very blessed that I kind of just went with the flow and followed that
direction.
path.
Yeah, you're doing amazing on it for sure.
Thank you.
Is this what you call the Sparkling Hippie Publishing?
Yep, the Sparkling Hippie Publishing Company. So I have the Sparkling Hippie, which is my coaching and art, and then the Sparkling Hippie Publishing Company. So
that's right.
2 different businesses, but they work together.
That's amazing. See, did you publish any other books other than the Motherhood Diaries yet?
Nope. The Motherhood Diaries was our first project. I feel like we have about a dozen authors in process.
Nice.
But no one's finished yet. And as you know, but your listeners don't, but my biggest thing is I don't want anyone to feel rushed to get through their book or, force out the words. I want everyone to write as it feels good. So everyone can take their time.
I just want to say, I think I'm going to be your second one, honestly speaking, because I'll be probably sending you the story within like less than maybe about 2 weeks. I'll be sending it out to you. So that's kind of fun.
Cool.
But I basically wanted to tell you that I never knew I could be an author. And I think I just think everyone needs to hear that. I'm not the best writer. I have so many grammar issues, punctuations, run-on sentences. I am a complete bummer when it comes to writing. But what I love about the fact that you do, and I think you might say the same thing, when I had talked to you about that, I'm like, I want to do this, but I'm not a good writer. You said something to me and you said, don't worry about that. We will help you with all of that. All you need to do is just write.
Yeah.
And I know that I have the editing portion going through right now, and she had talked to me yesterday, and we went through a lot of stuff, and I told her the same thing. And the funniest part is no matter what kind of writing I did or what I was going through, I still have one book published.
Yes,
right?
which is such a big deal. That's huge.
So I want you to give some advice to people. What advice do you give them? That if they want to publish a book, how can they get started?
I love that. I love everything you're saying for so many reasons, because you're touching on my own heart, because like I said, my whole life, I mean, from like first grade on, I've wanted to be an author. And as I studied the industry, it was like, oh my gosh, how do you pitch a book proposal, and who's ever going to read it? And you don't have a following. It was just so many rules and things that, my heart is, if you have a message like you do, and you are putting out there, if you have a message to put out, it should be heard. So let's remove all those barriers of, big publishing and you have to have 10 million followers or whatever, and let's just get it out. Because I feel when it's on your heart, it's almost like, I'm from the South, a lot of oil rigs from Oklahoma. I say oil wrong too. Everyone said, oh, you're such a hick. But I always like to use the example of an oil rig, because it's like the oil is bubbling up and coming up out of the ground, and it's going to burst, right? It's going to start coming out anyway. So you might as well tap it with a rig and let it spew out, and, actually turn it into something, right? Sell it and have a, oil for whatever. So to me, if you have that feeling on your heart, for those of you listening, you have this ache that you need to share, you need to speak, you need to get this out, and you want it to be in a book. And maybe you are like Nish said, oh, I'm not a good writer, I'm not this, I'm not that. And I think a lot of people feel that way, but the truth is, if it's on your heart, it's meant to be shared. And that has precedence over your, I have a couple writers who English isn't even their first language. Whatever mental blocks are coming up, if you can push that aside, I guarantee you have a book that needs to be shared. And again, not even thinking about yourself, but thinking about all the people that you're going to help by being brave and putting that out there. And I know for a fact, Nish, that your book is going to help a lot of women. I don't know how much you shared with your listeners, but your story is incredibly powerful. I'm looking forward to seeing how many lives it changes.
I have one quote that I wrote on my in my story. And this quote that I wrote, I got a text message from a friend of mine that's going to be doing she's going to be doing the review of the book. So she sent me the quote back, and she had tears in her eyes.
Aww.
And it teared me up too, because when I read that quote, it made me feel so teary, because I remembered what was happening to me at the time. So let me read that quote since we're here. I never got to hold you. I never got to see you, but I knew how much I cried that day. Now I carry you in my heart instead of my arms.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. That's big.
Yeah. And when I wrote that quote, it was the next chapter to what happened to me. And when she had sent that back to me, I was like bawling. I was like, oh my God, why'd you send this to me? I really do hope that this does touch a lot of women, because I think every woman go through something somewhere in their life that they want to share, and stories like this that they want to share. I would advise them to get a hold of Haley, because she's good at what she does. She's there to help you. She's there to motivate you, and she's there to be there with you. You can go to any other publishing company, and I want you to talk to us about that, because there is a cost with these publishing companies. Can you give us some idea of what these costs are when you go out and look for publishing companies compared to what you're giving out?
Yeah, I actually really encourage people to shop around, because there is a million different ways to publish a book. But from my research and from talking to other published authors, I've talked to several authors who are self-published through a company similar to ours, and they paid upwards of $20,000, and that didn't include marketing. That doesn't include, my biggest heart is who you become in the process, right? So we have weekly calls, which Nisha is a part of, but we have weekly calls where our authors can ask questions. Are you freaking out? Are you hitting a mental block? What's going on? Because I want you to come out on the other end of this being confident you are an expert, that you have a story to share, and feel, proud of what you've done, and not scared to death that someone's going to read it and you're going to fall to pieces or whatever. I want my authors to feel good and proud of themselves and own that expertise that is already within them. So, anyways, but that's one avenue. And then I know even like Hay House, obviously it's almost impossible. You need to be really far along to even get their attention. But even the subsets of Hay House, I've talked to authors who published with them who are like really small publishing houses within their company. And those are usually starting at $30,000 to publish a book with them. So, I mean, if you want to pay it, by all means, because there are things that those companies can do that I can't do. They have the connections and all of that. But for me, if anyone resonates, I feel free to reach out. But for me, it's that heart message, right? And I know you have such a strong heart about your story and helping other women going through that, or who have gone through that. And I know too, you're going to come out the other side, and you have built a business around this. You're going to help people with this. It's not just, it's not flippant for you. It's something you're really passionate about. And that's your passion is my passion. I always say my job is to put the spotlight on your light. So
that's true. That's absolutely true. So if you do want to get a hold of Haley because of you have a passion, you want to learn something, like how would someone come to you and say, hey, I want to get a hold of Haley. I want to write a book. I have something I've been wanting to talk about out of my heart. How do I get a hold of Haley?
The easiest way would be our website, and it's tshpublishing.com. The TSH stands for the Sparkling Hippie. You can also, if it's easier, the sparklinghippie.com. You can find all my information on there. And I would absolutely love to talk to anyone, no obligation. I usually invite you into our Facebook group where I give free trainings all the time, and we have a lot of fun. So I would love to connect with anyone, however they see fit.
That's amazing. So if anyone is hearing this and they're able to hear that, and you do want to write a beautiful book with Haley, please message her. She is absolutely amazing. Haley, you've done so much for me. You know that already. I always talk to her and I joke around with her, and I'm like, I actually end up paying so much money just to see her. And today's the first day I get to see her without paying a dime. So
it's an honor too. It's an honor to be here, for real.
I'm just joking. She's not just my publisher. She becomes my friend, and she really works towards your internal story, and she works with you, and she makes sure that you are helped in any way that you can be helped in. So yes, if you do have a story, you want to write one, I would recommend Haley. I love you. I love you so much. You have no idea. I'm so excited to have this all together. Motherhood Diaries is doing amazing. My book will be coming out very soon. I can't wait to share that with everyone soon. And Haley, thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Nish. You're so sweet. I love everything you're saying. And thank you for just putting this beautiful show together and having the courage to be who you are. I can't ask for anything more than that. So thank you.
My vision is to bring millions and millions of women into this podcast. And these women are going to be here to inspire other people. And you are one of them. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this show. Thank you for subscribing to the show. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe below. And other than that, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone. And we will see you next week.